It's been a hell of a week for wrestling when it comes to WWE. Brooklyn has seen an amazing couple of shows. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the NXT ones, including tonight's show and TakeOver Brooklyn 4. It's the NXT After Show on AfterBuzz TV. Don't you go anywhere!
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Of all of the intros to nail, the one about the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah. Pizza. Gotta do the denim for my boys that were present or accounted for. It was funny watching the show this weekend and seeing Dozer just be like, got some dinner going now. Like, they didn't even send him to New York. They were just chilling at home.
Well, I don't know if you saw, but Tyler Breeze and Ty Dillinger were Twitch streaming during SummerSlam.
Maybe you guys should watch your show.
I mean, Ty's been doing that more and more often,
Yeah.
and no, both of them have. They've been doing it very
They've
very
been
much.
around long enough at this point that they know.
Like, can you imagine? They're become WWE reactors. Like, I would have been good in this segment. I would have been good in this segment too. Welcome to the NXT Brooklyn 4 After Show right here on AfterBuzz TV, Wrestling and Sports. I'm one of your hosts, the Internet's Mark B. Donica, joined as always by Mr. Robert the Hobo Baines.
Yeah, don't expect a whole lot of energy out of me today. We had too much fun on Monday.
We had a lot of fun on Monday.
Talking about, laying pipe and all that. So
yeah, it was a pretty fun show. Speaking of laying pipe, Bill Hanstock.
Hey,
So
promises.
that's a sexy shirt.
That's a really cool shirt.
It's coral, maybe
Coral?
Salmon?
No, salmon. It's
Salmon?
too hot for salmon. Too much red.
Yeah, coral.
Yeah, it's a
Coral,
little.
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe coral's a little orangier. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, we're on track.
Thrilling wrestling commentary. Welcome to everybody in chat. This was an amazing weekend. We're going to talk about NXT TakeOver, but we're going to do stuff in the order of which it was taped. So we're going to be talking about tonight's stuff first. We only had a couple of matches, and we'll talk about some sort of the post-show interviews as we talk about the matches from TakeOver. So our two matches tonight were Bianca Belair versus the reincarnated corpse of Deonna Purrazzo.
Gypsy Curse, alive and well.
She cannot die.
Nope.
What did everybody think of her new theme music?
Fine.
It was all right.
It was
Reminiscent of classic Aiden English.
So something that I thought was I somehow managed to avoid spoilers for even this episode, stuff that happened on this episode. Was 2 matches?
Yeah, just 2.
Okay, so
Yeah.
thank God. So I didn't know Deonna was coming out. I assumed Tyler that Pete Dunne retained, because otherwise I would have heard about that probably.
Yeah, everybody heard.
But I didn't know Deonna was going to be coming out. So when Deonna's new music hit and Bianca was already in the ring, and then Bianca does the that thing. At first I was like, oh hell yeah, Deonna Purrazzo, she's surprising everybody, she's back. And then I was like, wait, did Bianca not know who she was gonna wrestle? That's stupid. But it is also a little bit in character of Bianca to be like, it doesn't matter who I'm wrestling, I'm just going to go to the ring.
She's the EST.
I guess she
but
didn't
if she-
read.
It was great to see both of them back.
Yes, but if she knew Deonna Purrazzo well enough to be surprised at her entrance, she probably knew her enough to be like, you're wrestling Deonna Purrazzo, for that to have sunk in a little bit.
Maybe she was expecting her old theme music. Maybe that's what all this
yeah.
is. What?
She
New
got a
theme
jacket,
music?
a long jacket.
Yeah.
I like a girl with a short skirt and a long jacket.
Boom,
Jacket.
ba-da-ba-dum.
That's what you get with.
Hey,
That's
you
what
know
you got
what?
with their first paycheck.
But this match went the distance.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them were reluctantly crushed at the starting line.
No.
They both just
They're
fired off.
anxiously waiting. Yeah.
We got 7 matches to talk about.
All right.
What about this match in particular? Did anybody think that now that Deonna wasn't a part-time player that she had a chance in this match? Because Bianca's had a chip on her shoulder because she got removed from that number 1 contendership match because of injury and
Reasons.
because of reason, and now she's fighting to get back towards the number 1 contendership.
I didn't think that Bianca was going to lose the match because of everything, the entire story they've been telling. And also, Deonna isn't quite the level of like surprise signee shows up and defeats someone that hasn't been defeated yet.
Yeah.
Like maybe that would be Taya. Like if Taya had showed up. If Taya had showed up. Like that would have been like that's the level of like superstar if that we're talking about.
Tiana and Bianca Belair would be amazing.
Yeah. So I didn't think Bianca was gonna lose, but you know, now that the ghost of Deonna Purrazzo is back, and she got the long jacket, I thought maybe she would have like Reaper or Sombra powers. Like she died, she's seen the other side. Maybe some
she can apparate in and out of existence.
Maybe some Genji powers, maybe like
teleport.
Yeah.
I think Deonna Purrazzo looked as good tonight as obviously A, she's ever looked, but B, as good as she needed to look against somebody like Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair is a wicked hot commodity right now. She cannot be beat. She says she's the EST. She backs it up. But Deonna Purrazzo brought skill and experience to the table that truly Bianca Belair could not compete with. So as a result, Bianca Belair made the decision conscious to cheat to get a slight advantage in this match because it is not necessarily strength or speed, but skill that is truly the defining factor in what makes a competent professional wrestler. And Bianca Belair does not have the skills and time to be an extremely competent professional wrestler. She's very strong, she's very fast, she is physically gifted and skilled, but she does not have the reps. And Deonna Purrazzo has traveled extensively since we've seen her last on NXT, and she has honed her craft, like they love to say, and she is back in NXT, showing what she has learned with that chip on her shoulder, soaking up as much as she possibly could.
But was she back to her roots?
I don't know about roots. Maybe not roots.
All right. I was a big fan of the match. I am so happy that Bianca Belair is back because if we're leading back up to her and Kairi Sane, which was one of my favorite matches of the first Mae Young Classic, I'm tickled pink. Like if that's the women's championship match that we're getting at LA, oh boy.
If it is going to be Bianca Belair and Kairi Sane, I think Bianca Belair is going to have to go through Shayna Baszler first. That's going to be pretty fun to watch if that ends up happening.
Yeah, those two as well. Let's talk about our title match for this evening, the United Kingdom Championship, a little bit of a rematch from earlier in the year. Did anybody think that this didn't they fight, or was this was what he won?
Zach Gibson won the tournament.
Yeah, which gave him a United Kingdom Championship shot. This is it.
Yeah.
Okay. They commentary. I missed the.
No, they
tournament,
know each other well. They've wrestled a bunch, but they not in WWE as far as I know.
Yeah. Okay. I would
correct me in chat.
Yeah, please do.
And we'll know in 3 minutes.
This was wild as hell and violent. Not necessarily as violent as some of the matches at TakeOver, but very hard hitting. And it was weird to see Pete Dunne in kind of a vulnerable position.
Yeah,
he's the smaller man. He's giving up a lot of size.
Probably the biggest opponent that Dunne, like as far as like height and weight.
He's
second,
7.
I'd say second to Wolfgang. Wolfgang is
not as tall as Zach Gibson.
He's not. It's tough to tell.
I know.
I need him. I need a side by side.
Is he as tall as 7?
7's not tall. 7's like 1 inch taller.
I guess
than Tyler Bate.
compared to Tyler Bate, I think everybody's a little bit taller.
You're not tall, buddy.
Thanks.
But this match flipping ruled, and I was really surprised. I was legitimately surprised that Pete Dunne retained, but I'm happy he did.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it'll be great going into the UK tapings this weekend to see the state of the United Kingdom Championship.
I thought it was a super solid match with a lot of intensity on the parts of both men, with a little bit of a goofy ending.
A little bit. I've got a couple of just a
mustache twirling villainy.
A feeling. It didn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
You know, why did he try and throw away his mouth guard? It's a mouth guard. You can get another mouth guard. You're not broke, man. You got the belt. You're okay. You can get
but he
another
won't be able to
mouth
do
guard.
it that night.
Is your mom gonna be mad at you if you lose your mouth guard? Like it's I don't
Yes.
understand
My mom bought me that, didn't it?
that. And
So when you actually throw away your retainer, and then your parents got to go dig through a dumpster.
right. And my other issue with Zach Gibson's offense was he used the lung blower a lot, which for a big guy is kind of a silly thing to do. You know,
Why do you say that?
You have the power advantage, you have the size advantage. Why use a move that's really a smaller man's move? It's a smaller guy's move.
Okay.
You're talking about the lung blower where you make your opponent fall on you, right?
Yeah.
Where you just drop down and
Yeah, you grab the back of the head, pull him
not
chest first
not
onto
the
your knees.
like Tommaso Ciampa like power bomb onto the knees.
No, that's
a big boy
that's
do.
a big
That's a
guy's
big
move.
boy do.
Now, if I saw Zach Gibson using that, I'd go, okay, that fits. He's a bigger guy. He's got the size advantage. He's using it, but he uses an agility move on a guy who's supposed to be more agile than him, and it just kind of for me it falls flat. Use what you have, and don't try and be something you're not. Be bigger, act bigger, wrestle like a big guy.
Like I really liked it. I thought the whole match was super solid and great. Like up until I liked him kicking Pete Dunne after he bit the rope. I liked the mouth guard coming out and him stomping on him and like looking to break his teeth.
Yeah,
But
that's good.
but then it becoming about the mouth guard and like the possibility of having it be thrown away being the thing that lights a fire under Pete Dunne.
I thought he was
And
going to
then
put
he
it in
hits-
his mouth.
And then he hits the bitter end one time because like he hit it and I was like, well, that's clearly not the ending.
Yeah.
I was like, because I thought it would be like that would be a great spot in that match if he goes to throw it away, gets his finger broke, gets caught with the first bitter end of the match. I thought that's a good spot for like a 2.9 count.
And a transition.
And then like another minute or so of like just a hot ending.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. It was a great match overall.
Yeah.
It's just,
But I think
the ending was a little bit abrupt.
What's Gibson's finish?
I thought it was
Who
the lung
knows?
blower.
We'll never know.
We don't know. Well, it's not the lung blower. He
didn't
used it
finish it.
twice, and the
he
second
did
time
he did a super lung blower.
first, and then the second one he did a regular one, and Dunn was like, "I didn't like it the first time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sell that one.
He did a super one. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go back to basics.
Go back to what I know."
Yeah.
It's time to just, I've been getting a little bit, out of my comfort zone.
Let's stick in the comfort zone.
Yeah.
I
right
think
in
this
the
is
zone.
the difference between a TV match and a takeover match. With that finish, where
Yes.
it's like, oh, they would have given them 5 more
That's
minutes
true.
to.
That is a great point that they had all of TakeOver to follow that match.
Yes.
So, with that in mind.
With that in mind, before we start talking about TakeOver, I wanted to let you know that our network produces after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, there is no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking you that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about those pesky notifications, don't be, because they are optional. I mean, it'll help you know right when we're going live, but they are optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel, and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know that you did so in the comments, and we will thank you on air. But for now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk. We've been getting a lot of new viewers. I've noticed External Shockwave in the chat. That's a new name.
Wow.
I'm not familiar with them. They're wondering if Bill was a wrestler, because Bill looks like he has the build of a wrestler.
Real wrestler Bill.
I only have a build from of a wrestler from the collarbone up.
So that's a no.
So
that's a solid no.
I also have the build of a wrestler in my bathing suit area.
If that wrestler is Haystacks Calhoun, I have a build of a wrestler.
What about Handstocks Calhoun?
Hello, Handstocks Calhoun. That's pretty okay. Come on,
Giant hand stocks.
Giant Handstocks. Yes.
Well, External Shockwave, thank you for subscribing. Brand new subscriber. They subscribed yesterday.
Oh.
So that means you must have seen our SmackDown show. Please make sure to check out our Raw show as well. It was absolute insanity on Monday. Hobo made me go on it, and it was wild.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was the two of us, Evan, Mac, and
The
TK
reviews have
Trinidad.
been fantastic.
Oh, wow.
Highly inappropriate.
Oh, that's
Highly
awesome. I'm
inappropriate.
sad. I'll have to go back and check that one out.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. All right, so let's talk about a little show that you may have heard of called NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4.
Hey, but you know what? A little show with big ambitions.
Yeah.
It's
got dreams.
A little takeover that could.
Wide Eyes, Big Heart Can't Lose. What's the Friday Night Lights
Clear
gimmick?
eyes, full heart.
Clear Eyes. That's what it is. Clear Eyes is
Clear
awesome.
Eyes.
Let's talk about Undisputed
Clear
Era
Eyes.
and Mustache Mountain. Holy crap!
Yeah, wow.
What a match to start with.
This was pretty wild.
It had the action and the storytelling super hot. Nobody stopped Trent Seven from throwing a towel into the crowd and to
That's
put
true.
it back into his mouth. That was the difference.
That would have been awesome. He's like, no, I'm not going to throw the towel in. And then he eats the towel.
In
He
its
just eats the
entirety.
whole towel.
He just unhinges his jaw like a snake. And it just,
I just thought about eating a towel and it sucks
Yeah.
so bad. That
Yeah,
would suck so bad. So fluffy.
Last week, we were talking about how I thought this match would go, and literally the match went exactly like I said it should go.
Hell yeah.
it's like
Mostly
you've been-
because they're watching the show.
Vindication.
Of course.
Thank you for listening.
And I mean, and you were at the last tapings. You got a chance to talk to Brandon Taylor, who was a part of State Line, who was in that match. You got a little bit more of the psychology by being there. But it makes sense to me.
It's also the fact that the
Go on.
Listen, I'm gonna come clean. I'm really tired. Mustache Mountain
There you go.
and Undisputed Era. Undisputed Era, they understand the psychology of what actually has to happen in a match where you have a guy who is injured. So you have to take advantage of both opponents separately. You have to take on the healthy man as well as the injured man. And they did just that. They laid them both out separately in a nice extended way. But it didn't discount the fact that Mustache Mountain was very present. They really ran into this 110%. They were throwing their all in that ring. But Trent Seven's knee was the Achilles heel in this match. And once that came into play, the match ended. I mean, and abruptly.
I mean, we were talking about how we thought it would be a focal point at the very beginning, and I like how you kind of forgot, and he fired up and was like, okay, maybe it's not that big of a deal, until it immediately it is a big deal. It's a very big deal.
Yeah.
And that ended up
Bate was the healthier man, but he was also, by the end of that match, the more exhausted man. So when you take him out as a real threat, Seven is just not strong enough to carry that match on his own to a conclusion for his team.
Yeah.
He is not able and capable of doing that physically. And that is exactly what happened. He just fell short. He couldn't.
despite being the tallest man in the match. But
Yeah.
this match
Is he taller
flipping.
than Roddy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anything, it's at least the hair.
That majestic hair.
It's just the beautiful
guys,
hair.
I'm just gonna say it. This match ruled. It friggin' ruled.
It's hot.
And
Sexy.
you know, I'm also gonna say it. I think the Mustache Mountain might have a real shot at getting those NXT UK tag titles
Really?
Was it announced that they're getting their own tag titles?
at the thing.
Okay,
Not like soon or
Yeah,
like as announced. when.
eventually.
This weekend they will crown the first NXT UK Women's Champion. The tag team champions. That's another story.
it's a story for another time.
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society.
Sand, pocket sand.
It's actually creamer.
Was it creamer?
Oh, yeah. Creamer's really flammable. Don't ask me how I know
They
that.
didn't say it on the show. They weren't like throw creamer into the fire.
Hey, Danny, you got any of that creamer left over from when we were hanging around that Denny's for 8 hours?
No,
You do, don't you?
no.
But everybody turn around
I
and look
didn't hide
away.
it in my butt. That's what you're asking.
Butt creamer.
Zeno Hour says that Hobo's probably still tired from attacking Aleister Black 2 weeks ago. I absolutely loved this match. This was so hot. So good. I can't. It's really hard to. I mean, you kind of said everything that there was to say. I want to talk about Velveteen Dream.
Speaking of hot,
Dude. Sizzling. Velveteen Dream versus EC3. This was the most WWE match on an NXT card.
Oh, yeah, ever.
Yeah,
Ever.
on an
NXT card,
on a takeover card. Yeah, this was them going.
Yeah.
Hey up there, and I think it'll be very soon that we see EC3 on one of the main rosters, and Dream will probably stick around for a little bit longer. I would love to see him with the NXT Championship, but we're still dealing with that, and we'll talk about that later.
This was awesome in so many ways, but I mean, like, absolutely the weakest match of the night from a match moves.
I would say that too,
but personality wise, story wise, no one did it better that night. Like the two such big personalities. I wouldn't say nobody did it better that night, but like they had the biggest personalities of the night, the biggest like characters of the night, and like as you said, like basically like a pretty intense main roster style match. Like they did more than you would probably see either of these guys actually do on the main roster, but still an amazing match to put on with these two guys that NXT fans absolutely love, and they didn't have to do much. They're not going to like blow everyone else out of the water so that you get to come down after that Mustache Mountain versus Undisputed Era match. But you also have them doing exactly what they needed to do.
This made it very clear to me in retrospect that every single match had a different flavor.
Yes.
It wasn't necessarily going to a buffet and figuring out something that you like. It was ordering all of your favorite stuff off the menu and it being the best.
And I think that is what WWE does better than anyone as far as offer different stuff. Because everything's going to hit everyone differently, even if they are NXT fans, even if they are indie wrestling fans. And that is why indies need to look at what this is, this part of NXT. And that's what a reason why I like CWFH so much, is because they do that old school mentality, that like Memphis, that territories mentality of like, let's have a Haas match, let's have a little guys match, let's have a cruiserweight match, let's have a match that just tells a story and we don't care about the match at all, we care about the story. And then let's have a super indie work rate match. Like it's all pieces of the puzzle. And you go to like an ROH show and it's like every match is exactly the same.
Yeah.
New Japan, there's no variation. There's some comedy stuff, like Toru's awesome. Like there's some mixing it up here and there, but not to the extent of like WWE NXT, what they do.
I'll disagree with the New Japan stuff only because I am so close to that I am able to see the forest for the trees as far as the way New Japan sets up their shows. As far as this match is concerned, EC3 versus Velveteen Dream, I like. This is tough because from
hated it.
No, I didn't. From a wrestling analytical standpoint, this was the wrong match. Because you had Velveteen Dream, who's coming off losses at TakeOver. Nothing but losses. I don't think he's ever won a TakeOver.
Not a TakeOver.
Right. So he should come in as an underdog. EC3's on a hot streak. He should come in as like the almost the absolute favorite to win this, and it should be the opposite.
So they played a little bit too much into the crowd response, maybe a little bit.
They didn't play it all into the crowd response. The crowd was heavy behind Velveteen Dream.
I don't mean live. I mean the general reaction of everybody being so.
They tried to switch it.
Yeah.
They tried to make people boo Velveteen Dream and favor EC3, and you can't do it because they're more familiar with Velveteen Dream. Velveteen Dream does not win at TakeOver, which automatically makes him the underdog of the situation, and EC3 comes in and he's on a hot streak, which puts him automatically over Velveteen Dream. So this was the wrong match. It was just a wrong match, and the crowd wasn't into it until the end. Because they got what they wanted in the very, very end.
Yeah, the last 5-ish minutes.
Right. They were really into it. It was the wrong match.
I got that. I get,
That makes
I get
sense.
exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
And so, despite that, to still have these two performers at the level that they're at to deliver, regardless, I think is a great standing to EC3. Does anybody to both of them? But did anybody see what popped EC3 in the eye?
Velveteen landed on him.
Okay, all right.
It was the German.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was he went over with the German. I think he just got too tight with the nose, and it
because you saw he wasn't able to bridge up on the German, and
Yeah.
he just because Velveteen landed on his head.
We got corrected by External Shockwave. Very big fan.
On the
Thank you
ball.
very much. He beat Cassius Ohno in Chicago,
okay.
and
Yeah,
then
that's true.
lost the North American
true.
match.
But for the majority, he's
yeah.
not a big winner at Takeover.
Yeah.
Another thing that I loved, which I noticed for the first time in this match, I love takeovers because for a lot of reasons, because they're always awesome. But one of the things I really love about takeovers, which is a little thing, is seeing people whose entrance I haven't seen on the WWE stage yet. I get to see their entrance, and EC3's entrance on the stage was so awesome. Like he does the EC3 intro. Like they didn't nail the over the shoulder thing. I think they weren't quite ready for it on that scale as opposed to the Full Sail scale where they can just go whoop, and he's right there.
Yeah.
And they cut away a little bit too early for the zoom. But once all the lights came on and you saw the whole stage with the EC3 stuff, like that was awesome.
That was pretty cool.
And
seeing everything
Deanna's
sort of
entrance
move.
was awesome. Bianca's entrance was awesome on that stage.
The only thing that I didn't like about Bianca's is the pulled from YouTube sound effects of the whip crack, and I was like, come on, you could have gone to
they should have just sampled Matthew Perry going, "Whoopah!"
Can we get that now? Can somebody please make that and send it to us? That'd be great. Let's move on to Ricochet and Adam Cole for the NXT North American Championship.
Holy crap!
This match flipping ruled too.
was great.
Oh my
If this
god!
match had nothing else but Ricochet getting super kicked mid Acai Moonsault or Quebrada, oh my god!
so
It's like-
rad.
We're never gonna be able to appreciate how amazing that is because the timing on that.
Perfect.
Because when Ricochet goes to the ropes, Adam Cole's not on his feet, and so he gets up, hits the super kick right in the side of the neck at the perfect time to not only look like he absolutely murdered Ricochet. I just called him Trevor. To not look like he absolutely murdered Ricochet, but also to help Ricochet flip the rest of the way over.
Yeah.
Technically, no. He was
already all the way over.
No,
but-
he wasn't.
Oh.
But Ricochet, physically, you can watch his body change right when the contact is made to control himself. Yes, the contact from the foot did push him a little bit, but Ricochet was in control 100% of the time because
Ricochet's never
Ow.
not been in control of his body.
he's got great body
He'd
control.
be falling down the stairs and he'd be like, hover.
He was born, popped out, and did the hero pose,
Yeah.
and that was it. Cut the cord. Mama. This
It's you better not have any more kids because I'm the one and only.
this is where Ricochet has started to sort of turn a corner for me because this is where he tells his stories, and I get that. And if they kind of keep it to that a little bit more, I think it'll be easier for him to. I mean, it's not like he's on the down on the up and up. He started at the top, and everybody
Started at the top, now he's here.
It's one of those things where it's my sort of weird preferences that he needs to be a little bit better at talking.
Oh, yeah.
And when you can tell this kind of a story where Adam Cole is doing all of the verbiage and all of the speaking, I wish he would have shook up the script a little bit instead of just saying the same line over and over again. But it was still this proved Adam Cole wrong, just with Ricochet's body. And
We should mention Undisputed Era was unable to come out and help him because they got
attacked
beat
by
up by the
Raiders.
War Raiders.
Yeah.
Right, of course. Yeah, that was an important thing. This match is Adam Cole. I wouldn't say I would say he's not terribly flashy. He's not a flashy wrestler, but one of the things that he does possess is an incredible ability to sense timing. Everything he does is really well timed. He's just got a natural feeling for it.
Yeah.
And these obviously Ricochet does because he has so much body control. And you have to have good timing to have perfect body control. So these two individuals are absolutely perfectly matched on how well they can sense timing. And it was as good as it could possibly be.
Absolutely.
This match could not have been any better.
And Adam Cole's also pretty unparalleled at being just a huge dirtbag.
Yeah.
And it was especially evident tonight where you were like he got to the ring and he was waiting for the boom.
I was gonna say,
it's just like, what a jerk.
It's so awesome that it's the boom is such a little thing, but how awesome is it that like 12,000 people are already like aware of that and are waiting for it, and like it's over.
Yeah.
Like
a year later.
it's so good.
Like he made it's been a year. He has been.
And that boom thing wasn't even there from the beginning.
No.
Like
No.
but one last note on the leader of the Undisputed Era is that this is a perfect example. I just said he's a supreme dirtbag. This is a fantastic example of how you can be a spectacular heel and do in a non-NXT setting, because I know everyone loved him there. Everyone was like, yeah, I like this guy too. But perfect example of how you can, in a vacuum, be a complete bad guy without cheating.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you say NXT vacuum. Were you comparing him to any other?
No, I'm saying, like, if it weren't in front of an NXT, if it weren't in front of a crowd where everyone's
see.
like, I know this guy, I've been watching this guy for 8 years, I love this guy, I know he's a heel, like that.
Right. Yeah. He brings
Because it wasn't like people were really booing him during this match.
Right, but he brings self-love to a new level.
Yes.
Nobody enjoys Adam Cole more than Adam Cole. That's what makes him a bad guy. He just loves everything he does.
At the
so much.
same time, External Shockwave just bringing the fire. Do you think he's as overrated as people say he is?
I don't think he's
Adam
overrated at
Cole?
all.
Adam Cole.
I don't think he's overrated.
No comment?
At all.
Because I like to say that when he joined NXT, I didn't think anything of him because there's being a wrestling professional and dealing with shows that are primarily WWE stuff, it's really hard to incorporate new shows into your run. So I was pretty unfamiliar with him. So when I saw him and Drew McIntyre tower over him, I was like, what's the big deal? I don't see it. I don't get it. And it didn't take too long for me to buy into it completely because he's just so good. He gets it. He's right there and knows exactly what he needs to do to every individual crowd and every individual match. My favorite moment being TakeOver Philly, where Alistair throws down the kendo stick and it's a close-up of him saying, "You're so stupid. You're so dead." And it's like, oh, good. That's awareness.
Yeah.
That's like, it's improv. It's just being able to know where you are and act upon it.
And this is why WWE wanted to sign him for over a year. They were trying really hard to sign him for a very long time, is because he's so good at the stuff that matters. And he's a really good wrestler too. But he
Right.
the only people who think that Adam Cole is overrated are the people who are like comparing him, like viewing him and expecting like Kenny Omega or the Young Bucks or Will Ospreay, or like they're not, the people who think that he's overrated are like, he doesn't even do anything in the ring. Like, would open your eyes.
Yeah,
like
they don't get it.
You're not watching what he does as a wrestler. You're just
You're watching moves.
Right.
You just want to see him do moves.
Or maybe it's as PW Gregory points out, maybe they've never seen him ever.
Yeah, it's possible.
And it's because he's one of those names that has been floating around for a little while, and or before he got signed rather. And it's, you keep hearing that name, you keep hearing this, you keep hearing the Bebe and all that stuff. So I think it's possible for somebody who had like similar. I didn't think he was overrated. I just didn't know. Right. And the second you watch him perform, you get it. It's so, I mean, I agree with that.
In my opinion, the test for Adam Cole is seeing him wrestle anybody bigger than he is. Once you are able to see him in the context of size, they have protected him incredibly well as far as his size is concerned, because he's very small.
Especially considering that they debuted by beating up Drew McIntyre.
Yeah,
right.
But it was the pack mentality for that.
Right.
Also, Drew McIntyre never stood up.
Yeah, fair.
Like I saw it again recently. They did a thing on YouTube where Adam Cole watched his debut and commented on it.
Yeah.
And Drew like sort of like was still on his knees celebrating when they hit the ring.
Nice. Smart. Sharkosaur says, my favorite Cole moment was when Ricochet did his superhero landing on the NXT before the ladder match, and you can see him saying, why did you do that? That's another favorite of mine, too. Speaking of favorites of mine, hey, Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler was pretty flippin' great.
Man alive.
Brendan Stroud put it very well in his NXT recap, where he talked about that Shayna, it was clear that she had been doing her studying and researching Kairi's style, and Kairi was sort of overtly showing what she was going to do, and as a result, Shayna reacted, with knowledge, and the counter with the kicking the elbow was great, but then and because I can kind of relate to a little bit, she didn't think that Kairi would have also done her research, which led to her victory. And I liked the post-match interview after this where Shayna was like, I lost. She didn't beat me. And then so we still kind of have that same attitude from her. What did y'all think of this match? Because it was nuts. I did not think we were getting this match.
Kairi Sane is maybe the only person who can go absolute strike for strike with Shayna Baszler and look like she belongs in a cage. Kairi Sane absolutely throws her body into her strikes, and for somebody who is as small as she is, that makes all the difference in the world. She caught Shayna Baszler with a spinning back fist that I swear would have knocked anyone else completely black out. But still, because Shayna Baszler is battle-tested, she was able to stand in that ring.
Battle-tested, mother approved.
Absolutely. These two were made to fight each other. And it was so very well done.
Bill?
This match ruled, obviously. I loved the fighter mentality of she didn't beat me, I lost. It's very in keeping with the culture that she's from. And also perfectly true to what actually happened in the match.
Yeah.
And I don't think it diminishes Kairi at all because it's a heel saying it, but two, it's the phrasing of like it's accurate and it's proof that on any other day, blah blah blah. There are rumors that there are going to be some call-ups. As we said, we feel like EC3 is probably going to be the next person to called up. Like, I'm surprised he wasn't called up this week already.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised at that.
The only thing that bums me out about Baszler not being champion anymore, or Baszler potentially being one of the next call-ups, because that's probably pretty likely that she might be one of the next call-ups. Like, she's probably the woman most likely to be called up next.
Of anybody on the NXT roster?
Now that Kairi is the champion.
Yeah.
So I'm just bummed that we're not going to get to see Shayna defend the title against any of these potential people from Mae Young Classic 2. I'm sad that we won't see like Shayna Baszler versus Io Shirai for the title. I'm sad because you're talking about strike for strike, my boy. I'm sad we won't see Shayna Baszler against Mercedes Martinez for the title.
Yeah, because their match was great during the Mae Young Classic, but to add the extra to it, where it's like, I beat you then, I will continue to beat you. I don't care where I came from. I'm better than you.
Tony Storm.
Yeah.
The list goes on.
Yes. NXT generations right now are moving so fast.
That's true.
Yeah. It used to be super. It was weird when we were at a time without the Four Horsewomen, or even when Bayley was the last one left. It was like, how much long? And she was back in NXT for a really long time before going up. And then we barely had a time to blink with Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax, the Iconics stuck around. But it keeps going faster and faster, and especially with these tournaments now keeping the stocks loaded, like the women's division now, I wonder if they're going to share any of the roster with the NXT UK.
They are,
because Dakota Kai was on the poster.
Dakota Kai was on the poster. Tony Storm was on the poster. Rhea Ripley, I think.
I don't know if I don't recall,
but there were at least 3 or 4 women who are in Mae Young Classic who are also competing in the NXT UK tournament.
But Rhea Ripley's also injured right now.
Not Rhea Ripley.
Is she?
No, Rhea Ripley's been wrestling
Ripley's fine.
recently.
Yeah.
She,
It's
somebody was
the other one, Tegan Knox.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
she got
it,
she got
Tegan
hurt.
Knox.
Spoilers. But
I didn't say how. I said she got hurt.
But I was having this conversation recently. I think we're going to be fine. Like,
sure.
moving through, and also like it's not like when they had that last massive thing, and it's like, oh, now we have like Aaliyah and Lacey Evans, like, and like it was like people who were still like. Now the influx of people is like, oh, these are like world-class journeyman veterans who've been doing
world-class.
But like I'm old enough to. I was having this conversation recently. I'm old enough to remember a time when there was a big conversation about will the Indies be able to survive Samoa Joe, Nigel McGuinness, Bryan Danielson, and Davey Richards getting signed?
What
the answer is yes.
That was a really.
It was a huge concern.
It was a big moment. I remember that
because that was also the time when like TNA decided, oh, you know, Christopher Daniels and AJ Styles and Samoa Joe and Davey Richards and Nigel McGuinness, we're not going to let them work anywhere else either.
Yeah.
And what happened?
What a
the next
time.
generation of people stood up, and then they got signed to NXT. And those people moved to the main roster, and then the next generation.
Or a vacuum.
Yeah.
Where
Whoops.
there is a void, it will be filled by individuals who are, designing themselves to fill it.
So right before our main event, Matt Riddle
Yeah.
was confirmed that he's coming to NXT. It was kind of the worst kept secret, maybe a little bit.
The best part about this was the reverse shot that someone got from the crowd that revealed that he was in a full suit and had the slides on.
Yeah,
Because Matt Riddle will not wear shoes under any situation.
I mean, kind of like me, unless there's a paycheck involved, and
right.
I am
Well,
forced
for
to.
him, there was a paycheck
Yeah,
involved.
true, fair.
But it wasn't for footwear.
Right.
No, yeah,
That was not in the bottom line.
Bro, we got to look over this contract again. It says that I got to wear shoes. Just get tattoos of shoes on the top of your feet.
Jesus.
So it's like, it looks fine.
It's going to be great when someone's in the ring on Raw, like cutting a promo, and then he interrupts them wearing slides on the ramp.
He's going to run down and then
Just
trip
come out of
over
the
them.
shower, bro.
Sharkosaur says, worst kept secret since Keith Lee. I mean, kind of.
Was Keith Lee a secret? That wasn't ever a secret.
Lazy
I thought. I don't know.
The Lazy Lucha Lake Lock says Sammy Callahan needs to be the next big name that NXT goes after. Yeah, good luck with that.
That already happened.
No, that was a different person.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. No, Sammy Callahan could not be any happier where he is.
Yeah,
he's
he's
not
fine.
signing anything.
We talking about Jeremiah Crane over here?
Yes.
No, it's a different person. Cool. Yeah, Sammy Callahan and Jeremiah Crane, different people. Let's talk about the main event. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano in a last man standing match. Did anybody think that Johnny's character work in this would have been different if Aleister Black was in it?
His character work, no.
Yeah.
I think the same outcome would have happened, but I think that it wouldn't have been a last man standing match. But I think they did a good job not ending it, and still, like, I thought it was the third best of their three matches so far,
Yeah.
but still great. They still delivered somehow, even with expectations that high. I thought it was as good as it could have been.
The fact that they're hitting similar notes and adding parts of, like, soon it's going to be a greatest hits because
It already is.
Because the knee brace was a factor, the crutch was a factor, the ring being torn apart in the DDT was a factor, and the handcuffs. So, like, I wonder what from this match is going to be brought into the next one. But I think what I would like to see, I'll say it like this: what I would like to see is, now that Johnny has become a victim of his own hubris and has injured himself and taken him out, and he lost the match for himself, we go back to pure 100% white meat babyface Johnny Gargano, and the next match is a standard singles match.
I think that is probably... I think that Gargano is going to go back to being pure of heart now. I think he's going to admit, I let hatred consume me, and I took my eye off the ball of what's important, which is retaining myself, and not... I want to defeat you, but I can only defeat you if I don't become corrupted by you.
Yeah.
And I think that, but I wouldn't necessarily do like a standard match. I think I might do Hell in a Cell, like the first NXT Hell in a Cell or something.
Well, because the next one's War Games,
Right.
So
but I don't think it's going to be Gargano and Ciampa at that. 4 straight. All right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody had a really good prediction for War Games that it was going to be British Strong Style versus Ricochet and War Raiders versus Undisputed Era.
Yeah, like I think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be Ciampa and Gargano in the War Games because it's got to be a multi. Unless it's like Gargano and LeRae against Ciampa and
you
question mark.
You just trap the two of them in a giant cage with 2 rings and see what happens.
I don't think Johnny Gargano's gone far enough to suddenly turn back. He's lost matches, but he hasn't lost everything.
I think
He's just beginning to find out how dark and deep this hole is he's digging.
I think him injuring himself trying to injure Tommaso Ciampa is the wake up call.
it will. I think it will. I think
don't think so.
possibly somewhere in between, because I genuinely think that with you, Bill. But I also think that there's a possibility that we'll see Candice like showing up like at the stretcher. And it's like, oh my god, honey, I'm whatever, this, that, and the other thing. He's gonna be like, you're an idiot, and we're gonna see. We could also see that start to degrade, and maybe Regal says like, you're a danger to yourself and those around you. I'm gonna suspend you. Like we're gonna start to see stuff start to unravel.
Maybe the darkness is that he injured Alistair.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe. But I think the whole point is we have to literally see Johnny Gargano become Tommaso Ciampa. And then and only then can he truly understand how absolutely out of control he has gotten.
I think there's a possibility that Gargano is like, all right, you did it to me. I'm on the dark side now. And they come out in matching jackets.
I don't know.
I think they do the. I think that's what I'm saying. I think they do the thing where they do when Bryan Danielson joined the Wyatt family.
Oh yeah,
where it's like for a month they're gonna be together, and then Gargano's
Evil
gonna reveal,
DIY.
I'm actually still good.
I want to see Gargano out Ciampa. That's what I want to see. I want to see
comes
Johnny
in with a
Gargano
gun.
completely yes. I want to see his wife leave him. I want to see him have a drinking and or drug problem. I want this to go absolutely balls to the wall. Oh my God, they can't do that on TV kind of stuff. That's what I want.
Johnny Dope Nose.
Absolutely. I want to see this get dark and deep and horrible and like friggin' just bad, man. That's what I want.
I mean, we kind of wanted the Roderick Strong like main event stuff to take a really dark turn, and it never did. So there's a chance for this one. Would anybody have preferred a draw?
No.
Great.
No.
agree.
This was
I wanted
perfect.
Tommaso Ciampa to
This
win
was
this
perfect.
match for Johnny's
this
sake.
This is probably the best last man standing match that WWE's ever done, because last man standing matches aren't generally good. I thought they
I mean,
did
the last one ended in a double nut shot.
I
didn't
thought
it?
they did the best they could given the stipulation.
Yeah.
And given that they had to change
I actually
match
like
was supposed to
the WWE wise, the best last man standing I think was John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. Was probably the best last man standing.
The one before that being John Cena and Umaga. But man, time keeps on slipping when you're talking about NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. If you want to know more of what we thought of the event, make sure to check out our personal accounts, because we were tweeting during the event, except for you. We were tweeting during the event. You were wrestling.
I was wrestling Kikataro.
And
I was busy.
And
Phil Cosby.
And it went
Phil
exactly
Collins.
Phil Cosby. It went exactly how you think it went. Bill, where can the folks find you on Twitter, and what you up to?
Find me on all social media at Sundown Motel, and check me out on the With Spindex podcast. And I'll see you on Sunday at CWFH.
That's right. I'll be there. I'm wrestling Eric Watts at the Red Carpet Rumble in a match that you're not going to be able to see because Robert Baines is too damn dangerous. Follow me at Baines Destroy.
My doctor says I shouldn't be sitting next to you.
You can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica. Make sure to check out all of the programming right here on AfterBuzz TV, Wrestling and Sports. I'm also a producer on X-Pac 12360, which has started airing on its own channel. So if you head to youtube.com/X-Pac, you'll be able to check out today's episode with Teddy Hart, and boy, was it an adventure. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the NXT After Show right here on AfterBuzz TV, Wrestling and Sports. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
We're gonna buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.